If you look at Britain on a map today, you might think its influence ends at the shores of the British Isles. But look closer, and you'll discover that Britain still governs 14 overseas territories, stretching from Gibraltar at the gateway of the Mediterranean to the Falkland Islands in the South Atlantic. These are the last remnants of what was once the largest empire the world has ever known. Just over a century ago, the British Empire covered nearly a quarter of the Earth's landmass and ruled almost 1/3 of the world's population. It was famously known as the empire on which the sun never set. But how did a small island nation rise to such global dominance? This is the story of the British Empire. Early foundations. The roots of the empire were planted long before Britain even existed as a unified state. For centuries, England was the dominant power in the British Isles, with a growing economy and a formidable military. Wales and parts of Ireland fell under English control, while Scotland remained fiercely independent, resisting repeated invasions. During the late 16th century, Queen Elizabeth I began issuing exploration and trading commissions. English adventurers like Sir Francis Drake and Martin Frobisher claimed distant lands, though many early colonization attempts failed, most famously the lost colony of Roanoke. Elizabeth also granted royal charters to powerful trading companies. The Levant Company and, most importantly, the East India Company, were given monopolies over overseas trade, laying the economic foundations of empire. Union and expansion. In 1603, James VI of Scotland inherited the English throne, uniting the crowns of England and Scotland. Though still ruled separately, this union accelerated overseas ambitions. Colonies were governed under three systems: crown colonies, charter colonies, and proprietary colonies. One crucial model was the plantation of Ulster, where English and Scottish settlers were planted in Ireland. This became a blueprint for future colonization across the New World. Throughout the 1600s, England expanded into North America, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia, often seizing territory from rival European powers. The creation of the Royal African Company in 1660 tied Britain deeply into the transatlantic slave trade, a brutal but enormously profitable system. Scotland's failure and the birth of Great Britain. Scotland attempted colonization of its own, but most ventures failed disastrously. The worst was the Darien scheme in Panama, which collapsed due to disease, starvation, and Spanish attacks. The financial catastrophe pushed Scotland toward union with England. In 1707, the Acts of Union created the Kingdom of Great Britain, merging both parliaments and pooling imperial ambitions. Empire through war and trade. The 18th century saw Britain fight a series of global wars. Victories against France and Spain brought territories such as Gibraltar, Newfoundland, and Caribbean islands under British control. In India, the East India Company transformed from a trading enterprise into a military power. After the Battle of Plassey in 1757, Britain emerged as the dominant force on the subcontinent. By the end of the 7 Years' War, 1763, Britain was the world's leading naval and colonial power. Loss of America. Yet empire came at a cost. Britain taxed its American colonies without granting representation, sparking growing resentment. In 1776, the 13 colonies declared independence. After 8 years of war, Britain lost the United States, its first major imperial collapse. A new imperial focus. After America, Britain turned toward Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. Captain James Cook claimed Australia and New Zealand. Australia became a penal colony, while Canada expanded westward through trade and exploration. Naval supremacy was secured in 1805 at the Battle of Trafalgar, guaranteeing British dominance at sea for over a century. The Imperial Century. The 19th century marked the empire's height. Britain abolished the slave trade in 1807 and slavery itself in 1834. India came under direct British rule after the Sepoy Rebellion of 1857, becoming the empire's most valuable possession, the jewel in the crown. Britain expanded aggressively in Africa, controlled Egypt to protect the Suez Canal, and dominated global trade routes. A worldwide telegraph system, the All Red Line, connected the empire by 1902. Decline and decolonization. World War I drained Britain's resources, even as millions from the empire fought in its defense. Though victorious, Britain emerged weakened. World War II accelerated the collapse. Bankrupt and exhausted, Britain could no longer maintain its empire. From the 1940s to the 1970s, colonies across Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean gained independence in what became known as the Wind of Change. The symbolic end came in 1997, when Hong Kong was handed back to China. The legacy. Though the empire is gone, its legacy remains. English is the world's most widely spoken language, and British institutions, culture, and legal systems still shape much of the modern world. Modern Britain itself reflects its imperial past, a multicultural society made up of people from nations once ruled by the empire. The empire may have fallen, but its influence continues to shape the world today.